talking about the Ruiru Dam that is run and walk that is slated for the 3rd of December. That should be on Saturday. A very, very noble cause, triggered by the Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Gathoni Mushomba, and very many foundations, very many entities have joined in on this noble cause, as well as TV47. And we are delighted to now shift gears and listen to what it is that KCB Foundation has in store in relation to this. They're also coming in as sponsors for the run. Beyond the noble cause, we would want to understand just what KCB Foundation is all about. And this morning, we are delighted to have Caroline Wanjeri Kihara, who is the designation, the chief party and head, or her designation actually is that she is the chief party and head of the program. And so we get to understand a bit about the KCB Foundation, but most importantly, how they come in to sponsor the run, and as well to delve deep into understanding what we'll expect for the people that will be joining in the run from KCB Foundation. So it's good to have you. Asante sana for creating time.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted this morning to be here. KCB Foundation is one of the sponsors for the marathon. As you're aware, we have branches across all the counties. In Kiambu County, we have Githunguri branch where the marathon will be taking place. So being one of the main sponsors, we thought it's very important to interact with the community. KCB Foundation is really the corporate social responsibility arm for KCB Group. We invest back to communities that have banked with us. And so for us, the mandate and the agenda and even the theme for the marathon is very key for us because it's about environment conservation. And one of the things that we do in the foundation is to promote the SDGs. We have the 17 SDGs. Through the bank, we promote about 9 of the SDGs. And of course, they're very interlinked, just as, Ban Ki-moon mentioned. That, when you think of alleviation of poverty, when you think about what is currently going on in terms of climate change, when you think about the scarcity of the resources of water, energy, and when you think about women empowerment, it's all so intertwined and so linked together. And so as a foundation, what we do is to run programs that intervene to address some of these problems within these SDGs. So through the foundation, we focus on 3 thematic areas. One of them is education. For a very long time, we've been a very big contributor to the current transition of 100%. We have sponsored over 3,500 students to go through their secondary education. And last year, we actually did include an additional arm to take them to university level. Over and above that, we run our flagship program, which is Tujiajiri. Tujiajiri really is self-employment. And one of the things we realized is that we have very many students who don't qualify to get to university. Many of them don't get the grades to get into university, but not really that they're not qualified. They're still very good. And so what we do is to work together with TVETs and provide them with technical skills. So we give them sponsorship. Then from there, we take them through a period of about 3 to 6 months where we give them business development skills so that they can become entrepreneurs, they can learn how to run their business, they can register and formalize their business, get the right licenses, learn how to market their business, learn how to keep their books of accounts. A simple way of just formalizing the same way, you'd walk into a bank and the bank would ask you provide audited books of accounts, sort of like preparing them for that channel, but also run their businesses professionally. Then from there, we do what we call business incubation, which really is the maturity stage, because the intention is to incubate within the foundation, then transit the customers into our micro or our SME business once they're matured. So when we're doing, during the incubation, we provide toolkits. We provide the startup toolkits. For example, if we train you in electricals or in plumbing, we provide you the toolkits that you would need to actually set up and and go and start doing a job, a hustle. You can actually go and say, I want to do for you wiring. Then there are those that we identify within the number that we give some form of seed capital, which is priced lower than what you would borrow through the commercial bank. And once they mature, we transit them to the bank. So that's what Tujiajiri is all about. But over and above Tujiajiri, which is really our wealth creation program, which, you know, has walked through the borders. You know, if you go to Rwanda, we have Igire, which is still Tujiajiri. Okay. If you go to Burundi, we have Iteza Imbere. Again, it's still Tujiajiri. So we've been able to go across all the 8 countries that we have, because if you look as a region, and if you look at where KCB Group operates, we face the same problems. In fact, if you look at the SDGs, we are all looking at a very huge population of youth that's ballooning and is unemployed. So for us, that's a very big opportunity. Within the same program, we have the sustainable agriculture. Again, we cannot ignore agriculture, because 70% of, again, the population within the region that we are in relies on agriculture for economic empowerment. So sustainable agriculture is key. We have Mifugo ni Mali, which is basically a livestock program, a value addition program for livestock, and really how to work with the farmers, especially in the semi-arid and arid areas, so that they can look at cattle farming not just like a culture, but as something that can bring them value.
Before you even expound this further, perhaps there's someone who's watching and they're wondering, like you started by saying, largely it would be about those ones that are banking with you. But are you flexible to open this to other people, or then it has to be specific to those that bank with you? In the event that someone has not started banking with KCB, can they think of this, and is it at that very point then you start having conversations of how they get to be part and parcel of the KCB Foundation, and most importantly KCB in general?
Actually, you don't need to have banked with us, because remember we said we are an incubator.
Yes.
So we actually incubate you to attract you to the bank. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't really need to be banking with us. So you come into the incubator, and that's how we attract you.
Then you decide whether you want to
proceed and get you into the bank.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have to have banked with the bank, but when you come in, the whole idea is that we are teaching you to be a business. The good thing is that you cannot separate finances and banking and business. So eventually it almost becomes inevitable that you would need to have an account that you're running and operating, because what we really try, the skill that we try to impact is how to formalize your business and run your business like any entrepreneur. And just think of a very fresh youth, you know, who's just coming from college, or who's just even finished Form 4, because we pick them from even as low as Form 4. They just done the KCP, they don't have money to go to a college, they don't have money to go to university. We get them into a TVET, 3 months they get technical training, either in tailoring, hairdressing, name it. We have about 8 pillars that we follow through. So we have agriculture, we have manufacturing, we have domestic care, we have personal care, you know, doing your nails and all that. We have ICT. So whichever, you know, the youth feel, and we even have creatives. So we have some who come and are very good at storytelling. Okay. We start incubating them early, you know. They're probably very good at writing, but they're not very good. So we get partners and colleges that we work with to train them, and now eventually they can get a pathway.
All right. And, you know, yes, and we're coming back to that, perhaps to understand that, you know, after incubation, you know, transisting, do you get to follow up with these people that you have incubated to the next level or to the next phase of their lives? Because it's one thing to train these people. It is another to see to it that, you know, this training has yielded fruits, which I think is the ultimate goal, that this person now can grow to a level where they have set up a business, or they have been employed somewhere and they're doing well, and therefore have gotten to levels where they can even bank and have their own finances, and, you know, just have that financial freedom, because equally that is, you know, an ultimate goal for very many people. And so we come back to that and we get to understand what are the modes of getting to understand and being sure that after incubation then there's value for that, because I would want to assume that money is being used, so much energy, time is being channeled towards seeing this incubation a success. From the level of incubation, do you walk along with this of your, you know, the team that you have picked?
Yes, so we continue. The journey does not stop there.
Okay.
If you look at a typical business, what are some of the challenges? One of the biggest challenges a lot of businesses are struggling with is lack of access to market. And of course, because of the muscle of the bank, as KCB, as a bank, we are big. So we are able to work with the youth, with the women, and see how to give them access to market. For example, I mentioned what we are doing on sustainable agriculture with Mifugo ni Mali. So one of the things we do is, if you look at the value chains, we work with beef, dairy, fish, And one of the things that we do is look at the next value chain, you know, like for example, if it's meat, the likes of Kenya Meat Commission, who a typical youth would not be able to knock to, we are able to get into partnership, and so that if they have their cattle, then their beef, we teach them proper agricultural practices, teach them how to bring up their animal well. We've worked well with partners like Kenya Veterinary Association, so that they can understand the importance of vaccinating your animal, feeding it well, and so that even the meat that comes out of it is good quality, and that way you can pass the standards that Kenya Meat Commission would ask for, or somebody like Farmer's Choice would ask for.
So the foundation is working with other entities, as opposed to saying that they have, you know, specific trainers that have been trained to, you know, these different courses. It is working with entities or stakeholders in different sectors.
Exactly. SDG 17 partnerships is very key. It's at the core of what we do. So everything we do, we work with partners. We work with implementing partners across the whole value chain of whatever it is that we are doing.
So how does one get to apply for KCB Foundation now that we say it is open, and so there's perhaps this line that you'd want to venture in and you realize the incubation process has this provision? How do you get yourself in there?
So there are two areas. I said we are in education and we are also in vocational training, where we're providing the technical skills. For the basic education, which is secondary, the students have just sat for their exam. So if you have passed and you feel you're needy, you don't have the fees, we normally advertise in all media. All our branches normally have the branches. So immediately the results are out and you have obtained good marks, 350, it varies from county to county, we will consider you. We go across and we recruit students across the whole country. For our Tujiajiri program, again, whenever we are doing our recruitment, it's open, it is in our website. If you go to www.kcbgroup.com, you'll be able to see opportunities as they come through. We work very closely with the national government and the county governments. So even as we do our recruitment, because we do it per county, we have a lot of heavy involvement with the county officials to help us in. A lot of counties and in the manifesto, including the national government, are very keen on youth empowerment. So in fact, most of the counties have even put in skin in the game and they want to reach more numbers. And we have a lot of counties, you know, Meru, Embu, I can't mention them, Nakuru, who have all said, you know, for every student that the foundation commits to train, they will train an additional one, so that together we can work together as partners through public-private partnership to reach as many youth as possible. So whenever we have recruitments, it's advertised. We advertise through the counties, we advertise on our website, and it's open for any Kenya. For Tujiajiri, all you need to do is to have done your KCPE. You have your certificate. That is the basic minimum that is needed for you to be able to qualify. And you are able to choose across the pillars, the trade that you think if you want agriculture, if you want creatives, if you want to do domestic care, if you want to do personal care, if you want to do catering. And we've partnered with over 61 TVETs across the country. Covering all these topics. And
so when I join you 100%, I know that I do not have to part ways with any amount of money. And are there specific timelines in a year that one should look at, you know, and expect the advertisements? Because sometimes, you know, we miss out on this because we are not so keen on the specific time. So maybe the beginning of the year, mid-year, and everything, so that, you know, people can be keen to be alert in the event that these advertisements are done.
Okay, so I'll explain that in two ways. So for the education program, as soon as the results are announced by the Cabinet Secretary of Education, we normally go out and advertise and say you can go in and apply and get in. And to your question on whether you will be needed to pay anything, if we pick a child for her secondary education, we take her through, we take care of their shopping, we take care of their transport. Because remember, we said this is a program for them. We look for bright students who are needy, who are vulnerable, who probably, you know, for some reason or another have been forced to early marriage. You know, we go deep. We work together with the local community to make sure that we identify the most needy, but also bright. So thereafter, after you finish your secondary education, we take you to your university. education, and we pay it through until you finish. And we don't stop there, because mentorship becomes key in there. So we run the apprenticeship program within the education program, where once you finish, we allow you to work in the bank for 3 months, just again to prepare the young people to the corporate culture. You know, many of them do not know what it means to wake up early, report to an office, dress formally, have some office etiquette.
Yeah.
So we provide them for about 3 months. But mentorship becomes a very key component, and through our branches, our branch managers actually handhold these students and carry them all along through their journey. And that explains why, even in terms of success rate and even transition, we've had a very high success rate, with about 90, I would say 99% of the students that we sponsor being able to transit to university. On the technical, vocational, under the 2G program, the courses are 3 to 6 months. Again, we take care of the fees of the full sponsorship. No money is needed. You don't need to pay anything. All you need to do is to present yourself and acquire the technical skills. And from there, what we have done is that the partners we have come together with, we insist on the job training. So industrial attachment is very key. And any partner, and even the TVETs that we come with, we insist that out of the 3 to 6 months training, 3 months must have on the hands, on the job training. And that's what we're calling the industrial attachment. And what happens is that makes them ready. Some of them actually end up either choosing direct employment, or some of them go into self-employment. But again, still within the 2G pillar, the mentorship component becomes very key. Because remember, these are youth, these are women, these are persons who are dealing with disability, because as part of diversity and inclusion, our programs focus on 70% women, and we make sure that 10% of the slots go to persons who are living with disability. So mentorship becomes a very critical component within there. And the intention really is, after we've taken you through all that, we are able to now hand you over safely. So we don't let you again. We hand you over to our micro unit. Or if you've grown to a higher level, because there are people who start up as incubators, as innovators, and they come out big, then we hand you over to our SME unit, which is a bit higher. And then from there, the journey again continues, because again, within the bank, there's a whole model of accommodating you, mentorship through our Biashara Club, just again to continue making sure that, that entrepreneurship, mentorship is going on even as you transit into commercial banking.
Well put, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Caroline. In about 30 seconds, just how do they get a hold of you? Or perhaps we should encourage them to join the marathon that is on 3rd, and maybe they get to have more information as pertaining to this, because I'm sure there are very many people who could be watching and would be excited to learn some more about the KCB Foundation.
We'll be excited to have as many joiners for the marathon. We'll be there with our Githunguri branch, and we hope as many people can come and join us. Our team will be there. We will be having our tent. We will talk to those that are interested. But if you want to learn more, if you go to www.kcbgroup.com, you'll be able to get a lot of information about our programs. If you walk to any of our branches, we have over 280 branches across the country. If you walk to any of our branches and ask about the scholarships that KCB Foundation offers, if you ask about Ruiru, again, you will be able to be served. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to be just in Kenya. If you're in Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Tanzania, all the 8 countries that we are in, you'll be able to get guided, because we have foundation activities across all our subsidiaries.
Thank you so much once again, Chief Party and Head of Programs at KCB Foundation, Caroline Wanjeri Kihara. Some of these, programs that are available, we do not take advantage of. Yes, they are very, very important. And when we say take advantage of, it does not mean in a bad way. It's just going there and getting this skill free of charge. Why don't you check them out? It was good having you this morning, and we're all looking forward to meet on the other side. That is at the marathon time on the 3rd of December on Saturday. That is the Ruiru Dam Walk and Run. That is very, very instrumental. Very many other options that will be there in terms of